Hey guys, DSKxMonkey here, back with another old school RuneScape Dragon Hunter alt from scratch episode. And in today's episode, we're just gonna start off doing some agility training, which I haven't done this whole time. I've only gotten up to 42 agility just from questing, and I'm also gonna do a bit of alching along the way. I ended up buying a bit of maple logs to string the maple longbows because I had a lot of flax that I turned into bowstrings, so decided to do that. And I also have a couple of yew longbows because I also strung them since I kept all the yew logs from Winter Thought after all. And I'm just gonna be here for a long time, probably try to go for full graceful already. And the reason why I have alkabows here is mostly because I really want to get to 59 magic in order to do the family crest, I believe, where you get the cooking gauntlets and smithing gauntlets and stuff like that. So I definitely need to get that in my arsenal already, do that quest because it is a requirement for Dragon Slayer 2 after all. And I just need higher magic levels in general for a lot of the quests I have left to do. Anyways, I'll be right back once I'm done. This might take me the whole day or two to get full graceful. It really just depends how long I end up playing. And yes, I know I don't really do the alching and running thing perfectly because I'm not used to this type of method of training magic and agility at the same time. I actually despise it because it gets very tiresome real quick. And although it's pretty annoying, at least I killed 2 birds with 1 stone for both agility and magic, which will definitely save me a lot of time in the long run. Not only that, but we did end up profiting quite a bit. Not too much, but at least we made money along the way during this agility grind. We're still not completely done, but we are definitely getting closer to Sears Village, and we got way past the magic level we wanted. So let's go level up some more. After reaching 60 agility, I ended up doing the Candor and Easy Diary for a 5% more marks of grace chance at the rooftop over here in Sears Village. And now that we did this easy diary, got a free lamp, we're actually just gonna put that on rune crafting, and we're just gonna finish off the grind for full graceful pretty easily. I ended up getting 61 agility from collecting all the marks of grace I needed for full graceful. Came to Bertholp real quick in case you didn't know where to get the full graceful set, and just bought it all from Grace. I ended up double checking just in case I messed up with the purchase, but thankfully I did not. And after getting all the graceful set in like two days, 2.5, I decided to go do some questing. As I mentioned before, our goal was to get 59 magic in order to complete the family crest quest. Unfortunately, and during this quest, for the boss fight, you do have to enter the wilderness. I, however, whenever I do enter the wilderness, hardly risk anything worth killing for. So if I ended up dying, I was definitely not gonna give the PKer much loot. In fact, this boss is fairly safe from my experience on 3 different accounts that I've done this on in my lifetime. Probably more actually now that I think about it, but regardless, this boss is fairly simple and there is no need to be too scared, especially if you do not risk much like I do here. After completing that boss fight, I ended up coming over here in order to complete the family crest quest, but I also had to do the sub quest for this quest, which is basically part 2. And in part 2, you end up having to go talk to all the people again, and then you have to pay this guy 500k, which ended up not being the most fun time for me since it kills my cash tag, but at least I could afford it, and now I can get all 3 gauntlets at the same time. Even though I just had to pay that last guy to complete the quest 500k, I'd rather do that again than have to complete the underground pass quest on another account. Thankfully, I did do my agility grind before coming over here, so in theory I should have better odds when it comes to crossing certain areas because higher agility, but you never know, that could just be a placebo effect that makes me believe that high agility makes for less failures. Unfortunately, this part of the quest, agility, basically doesn't matter, and it's all about a guessing game. And as you can tell, I missed every single one for the first row, and you know, my luck didn't change from here. Ended up doing some poor decisions. I thought, you know, there's no way it's gonna go all the way straight, so I tried diagonal, and then I just went back, and oh my god, it's straight. You know what, let me go diagonal again, and what do you know, I ended up falling once again. What a surprise. This is definitely the worst scenario for me when it came to guessing, because you know, usually I'm a good guesser, but right here basically shows me that I suck. Besides the grid portion of this quest, I didn't really fail too many of these jumps across the bridges, besides the first one, of course. I hope I was correct about, you know, having higher agility means you fail less, because it definitely felt that way. The real pain in the ass was using so many stamina potions and running around. But, you know, it can't be helped. It's just one of those terrible quests that nobody likes in the end. I also ended up fucking around here. I just messed up somehow with my clicks and, you know, whatever. Took a lot of damage. Could have died if I was a little more careless. But thankfully, we survived and did not have to go all the way back here in order to finish this part of the quest. After almost dying, I came back to Ardugan to complete the Underground Pass quest and finally started completing the Animal Magnetism quest. I definitely should have done this a lot earlier, but I wasn't really training range, so I guess I didn't really need the Avis accumulator, but thankfully, you know, I ended up getting it really quickly as I finished this quest. Once I finished that small quest grind, I did have to level up my cooking all the way to level 70 in order to complete a different mini quest in the recipe for disaster log. And as I was doing my cooking grind, I ended up getting spooked because I just saw that my game stopped, but it was just because of this guy that ends up coming to you randomly after a few minutes to give you this message in order to do the Regicide quest. After being scared shitless during my cooking grind, I decided to come back to the Motherlode mine because I need to get it a lot higher if I'm going to complete the Dragon Slayer 2 quest. Alright guys, I have finally finished the 68 mining grind on the Motherlode mine. I've been here for so long, and after I finish packing all these, I will show you guys the loot I ended up getting from mining. From around 52 mining, I believe, till 68. It did take me a long time. I was getting tired of it, but I know I have to just do it one day, so I might as well just get it over with. And let's see the bank here. We ended up getting 5,500 coal, 1,400 gold ore, mithril ore 1.2k, and 68 nuggets left. And I also bought the coal bag alongside some prospector gear. I definitely could buy another piece, I believe. Yeah, I could buy another piece, so might as well just buy another one. I could save up for the gem bag, but I don't really care right now. We'll just put this on, look a little bit better with the with the mining gear on here, and we're just gonna have a good time. We can finally get down to grinding a different skill and no longer doing some mining. And I definitely missed doing something else besides mining. Jesus. Take this with a grain of salt, however. I already had coal and gold from Winter Thought a long time ago, so I don't know how much left I had here, but I'm definitely gonna use this in order to reach 70 smithing. Hopefully it reaches me 70. If not, I'll just go buy some more steel bars, because as you can see, spoilers, I did a lot of cannonballs. Well, since I got back to the Grand Exchange, I might as well show you guys all the background grinding I've been doing through my history in the Grand Exchange. And it all starts down here. I ended up buying baked potatoes and pats of butter to level up my cooking a bit. Then after that, I decided to do some mud runes, as they were selling the potato butters, which you'll see in a little bit more. Then I realized that I can start cooking plain pizzas with anchovy pizzas anchovies to make anchovy pizzas. So I started to do that. I also bought a couple gold because I was gonna do some dueling rings over here. And as you can see, I sold anchovy pizzas. They actually insta sold, or close enough to insta selling, so I decided to buy more ingredients for that. Around that time, the potatoes with butter finally sold. That took a while, took like a day or two. Then I kept doing dueling rings, bought more cooking supplies here and there, bought some alcohols, bought the monkfish, obviously, to finish off the 70 cooking that I'm gonna need for one of the mini quests in Recipe for Disaster. After I finished doing my own emerald rings, getting craft and EXP up, which I need for a couple other quests, I saw that the emerald rings weren't really selling in the Grand Exchange, so I just decided to level up my magic with the level 2 enchant spell and sell a bunch of dueling rings here. Bought some feathers for some fishing grind, and then, as I mentioned in the last clip, I did buy a bunch of steel bars with basically my whole cash stack, and then I took like 2 days, I think, just crafting cannonballs for hours and hours on end. Over 12-hour grind here. I'd say maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but definitely took a long time, and I made a lot of profit, which got my smithing to 59, got cooking to 73, got 53 fishing requirement that I needed, got 68 magic from all the agility and the alking and the dueling rings, got 61 agility once I hit full graceful, and since I didn't hit the 60 that I wanted to in order to do blast furnace after the cannonball grind, since I didn't have a big enough cash stack to buy all the steel bars to get to 60, I decided to do the mining grind, which got me all the ore you saw in the last clip. Let me show you guys right here. That's my cash stack, and then these are all the ores. So I'm gonna use the goldsmithing gauntlets with the gold ore right here. I'm gonna do it in Edgeville because I don't really want to pay the blast furnace guys just yet. I know it's gonna be a lot faster to do the gold ore and get more EXP per hour that way, but I'm gonna be lazy. Let's see if this gets me to 60 smithing, and then I'm just gonna spend a lot of hours smithing in the blast furnace. I'm definitely gonna have a lot of fun, that's for sure. After all that skilling I did off of camera, I ended up doing the Lunar Diplomacy quest, which puts us one step closer to completing the Dragon Slayer 2 requirements. Oh, and by the way, I beat this guy fucking easily. This quest was pretty easy, and not only that, but we get rewarded pretty well in terms of EXP and a bunch of unlocks that come with the quest completion here at Lunar Isle. I'm definitely gonna do astral rune crafting in the near future when I want some money. Once I completed Lunar Diplomacy, I ended up completing Heroes Quest thanks to my main account being in the separate gang needed to complete this quest. So that really did allow me to solo it and not have to wait for my friends to get all the requirements for Heroes Quest. Sorry Isaac, sorry Phil, I did not need you. I then set my eyes on completing the Legends Quest, which puts us even closer to completing all the Dragon Slayer 2 sub-quests. During this quest, I ended up getting rewarded with some EXP to certain levels. Unfortunately, I didn't see any that I really wanted, so I just went with hit points because we're definitely gonna need hit points as we're getting to a higher combat level and having to fight way harder bosses in these quests. Not that they're too hard, but I don't want to get one shot or two banged. Definitely hit points was the right way to go. Plus I need at least 50 hit points in order to complete Dragon Slayer 2. And now I finally decided to do the Monkey Madness section of Recipe for Disaster, and I swear to you, I could not kill this gorilla. He just kept healing over and over and over again. My combat stats are trash, and having infinite prayer did nothing. After that epic fail, I am finally cosplaying as a monkey, and I ended up successfully cooking 3 out of 4 of these serpents. After having great RNG with cooking these serpents, I was able to feed my cousin over here his favorite dish in order to make him wake up and complete this part of the Recipe for Disaster quest line. While I was at it, I decided to save this knight with his favorite dish and basically complete the Recipe for Disaster quest. Now, all I have to do is kill all of the different Colomancer monsters and I will finally have accomplished Barrel's Gloves. I cannot believe I'm actually going to complete Recipe for Disaster on a second account. Jeez, I'm on the fucking quest grind out here, boys. Putting the Barrel Gloves on hold, I decided to complete this other quest by beating the fuck out of this evil guy. And then I am now going to complete Desert Treasure because apparently I need to beat Desert Treasure in order to complete Recipe for Disaster. I never knew that. I was going to do Desert Treasure eventually, but I did not know I had to. So unfortunately, Desert Treasure wasn't as easy as I remembered it. I ended up having to teleport from this boss in particular because the save spot wasn't really working as the guide was telling me it would. He literally never fucking stood behind that gate and he always teleported after me. It was kind of weird. And not only did that not work, but I ended up bringing anglerfish for my second go on this boss. And let's just say I did not know that anglerfish didn't heal jack shit besides, you know, giving you more HP than you had. I didn't know this, so I'm like, I panicked. I literally panicked and I just died for the first time ever in my Desert Treasure career. It's kind of embarrassing, but thankfully, third time's a charm and I was able to pick up the KO after so many failed attempts. Fuck. Regardless of my failure with that specific boss, the rest of the quest was fairly easy with protection prayers. I wish I knew I could use them in that particular boss, but you know, a certain person told me that prayer was basically useless. But regardless, you know, I at least didn't fall down during the pyramid section of the quest. I did, however, almost die here towards the end. I don't fucking know why. I probably should have kept my prayer up. I don't know why I stopped. I don't know what the fuck happened, but you know, at least we completed Desert Treasure after that long and painful series of events. Unfortunate events. With that disaster out of the way, I decided to focus on my combat stats, which ended up making me want to complete the Haunted Mine quest and the Ferminic Isles quest in order to speed up the process with some free EXP. Not only did I do those other two quests for some combat EXP, but I also had to do the Mountain Daughters quest and dig her own grave because her father didn't do it. F in the chat, and I don't know what kind of father this guy is in this quest line. Holy fuck. Now that I was done with those 3 easy combat EXP quests, I decided to level up my construction to level 50 because it is a requirement for Dragon Slayer 2. And besides construction, which was fairly costly and pretty fast to get to the goal, I also did thieving in the fruit stalls in the Hasidious Favor area from like whenever you can do fruit stalls all the way up to 60 just because, you know, it's fairly easy. I know it's not the fastest EXP in the world, but I'd rather do that than the rest of the methods around that thieving level. With those skills out of the way, I decided to spend the remaining few hours of membership training my combat stats on Ammonite crabs since my membership won't technically end until I log off, even though it already ran out while I was training there. But, you know, it does force you to log off after the 6-hour log, so, you know, you can't really abuse it forever, but I definitely got a few extra hours of membership just staying on before it officially ended. With that being said, boys, here are the stats we ended up finishing this week's episode with. This episode was actually 14 days worth of content, believe it or not. The reason being is that I spent a lot of these days just skilling and not doing many quests, since we are actually in the end game now. I also got to inform you that next week I most likely won't be able to upload because I'm going to be very busy, so I won't really activate my bond until I come back. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to 90 that like button, and I'll see you guys later with the completion of Dragon Slayer 2. Bye! Bye!